Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend. That song plays in my head a lot of times when I'm restarting these videos since I do one every day. But yeah, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kyra, and here we learn in
Subscribe.
this life. So today I was just thinking about the moon. It's moon energy. So on these days, I'm very reflective. And I went and looked at my charts and my apps just to see what the moon was doing. And I was like, it's so funny how it cycles. And I know I use the moon cycles a lot to move through my life and just help prompt me to be more present, be more releasing, be more action orientated. I utilize the moon cycles drastically. And I was like, a lot of people in the world do. Some people utilize it for like agriculture and farming. I think like water businesses, if that makes sense. I know there's a word for working with water. It's very biology based. Marine biology? Is that animal? I don't know. Anyway, a lot of energy uses the moon. So I just wanted to talk about what I know about the moon and just start to reflect on the energy of the moon cycles. So, when you live in a world that moves fast, like we do, you start to notice that even though the moon moves quickly, it's in a cycle that is continuous. It's always returning and it's always recycling into different place, right? So it really doesn't move fast. It just moves faster than a lot of the other energies around us, right? So if the moon is like our feelings and our emotions, they change. They're constantly changing. I know being a Cancer sign, people always try to label cancers as very moody and emotional, and you can present yourself in a very quick changing emotional way, especially when you are learning to allow your feelings and not let them rule you. Yeah, they can come off as moody to some people, but sometimes it's good to just feel your feelings. I just don't like to get stuck in my feelings. I like to feel them, see what they're telling me, and then let them free, let them fly. So the moon moves in cycles. And I think that's something that's beautiful for us to do as well because it allows our growth to be continuous in different cycles. So when you start paying attention to these cycles, your life starts to feel a little bit different because you've stopped forcing and you've started to flow, just how the moon does. It receives the light, it reflects the light, and it releases the light. So the moon moves through phases every 28 to 29 days. Each phase represents a different energy. The moon isn't changing randomly, it's moving through a pattern. And you can move with this pattern too. It's a really cool way to start monitoring your life, and you actually can get real time results because you can do it in a whole month just to see how that reflected. And then the next month, you can do it again and see, okay, when new moons come up, what kind of energy am I in? And when full moons come up, what kind of energy I'm in? And then once you get, pretty advanced with it, you can start looking at what zodiac sign the moon was experiencing its changes in. And you can really start asking yourself some really cool, deep questions. So let's start at the beginning. The new moon, the beginning cycle. The energy is all about stillness, rest, and intention. One common theme people have with the new moon is planting the seed, starting something new. But I don't want you to get confused with this because there's a lot more stillness and a lot less action than people think happens on a new moon. The new moon is very internal. You have to think about what the moon is doing in the sky. You actually cannot see the moon when it is in a new moon because it is directly conjunct and next to the sun. So it is completely absorbed by the actions of the sun and the energy that is putting in, and that is fueling the energy into a new space. But you're supposed to take that internally, so you're supposed to be still, be at rest with yourself, and start to think about what intentions you want to have based on where that sun energy is shining its light on and what you want in your life. You start planting the seeds into the earth. That is what the new moon is here to show you. I was actually born on a new moon. to be honest. So I have a lot, like a deep connection with new moon energy. And as much as people think it's the time to go, it's actually the time to plant the intention. And then once it's planted, you move it. But there's a lot of peace and stillness in there. And when I allow myself to have peace and stillness in the ideas that I want and let them get in there, I find way more growth and progress than just trying to take immediate action on a new moon. So, obviously, depending on what sign the new moon is in, you are going to plant the seed with a different type of energy in order to give it its most nutrient rich soil. So, this is where everything begins, but nothing is visible yet. You're not seeing any action, any results. It's all underground, it's inside, it's internal. So you use it by setting your intentions. You rest during a new moon. You rest, you guys, rest. You reflect on your desires, your goals, wherever that sun is. When you're in the new moon, it's showing you and shining light on an area of your life, a space that is looking to grow you. So you reflect on that, and you don't just take action, but you start planting it. You start planting the seeds of your intentions, your desires, your dreams inside of you, your beliefs, in order to allow what's going to come from it and grow from it. So slow down during the new moon energy. It's not as move, move, move as people tell you, like, especially on that first few days when a new moon hits, like, really rest and take it internal. Don't just be oblivious, but work inside with your thoughts, with your intentions, with your energy, your frequency. Set the vibe. Make sure that your soil and your earth is so nourished that what's going to grow from it over this next month is going to be its healthiest. That's the best way to utilize a new moon. You're starting to move, even if you're not fully sure yet on how everything is working out. So you can use it by taking small steps, trying things out, building momentum. These are very gentle nudges. And I find personally, I don't know if it's because I was born on a new moon, but when I do take smaller steps, like one step at a time, I have my biggest growth because I'm not putting all of the pressure to try to have something be perfect or look a certain way from the beginning. I just take a baby step. I can use the example of becoming flexible and stronger in my physical body. I literally started off by just doing one push-up a day, one crunch a day, one what was it? I do push-up, crunch, and like arm curls. There's other things I do, but I would just do one. I would just start off with one, and then I slowly started expanding that to more. And now, when I look back reflectively, my body is so much stronger. I'm able to do more. I've increased the number, but it was because I've gone slowly in it. I slowly started to plant that seed, build that momentum. I started trying things out. Even when, like, if I have an idea of like, oh, I think I want to be able to do a handstand or whatever, I give it a try, even if I'm a little scared about it, I give it a try, see what my body's capable of, and just go from there. And I take these small steps, and these small steps what's added up into my actual results that I've seen, instead of trying to start off with this like full forced stretching flexibility routine that I saw someone online or on Pinterest that I found doing, but it had so many steps and so intricate that it can make me discouraged, and I couldn't show up necessarily every day depending on where I was emotionally. Once I started doing that, oh my gosh, you guys, my results on my body is so strong now. What I'm capable of doing is, it shocks me, like things that I wasn't able to do months ago. I somehow now am able to do it because I just let it gradually build with that momentum. That's what the new moon is doing. It is starting that momentum for you. Internally, you can try out things, but be gentle with yourself. Be gentle during a new moon. Remember, it is a time of rest, not a time of aggression. Okay, it's not an aggressive. The moon is receiving all of the energy from the sun spotlight, and it is figuring out exactly how it feels about it. So the next phase that the moon goes into is a first quarter moon phase. Once the moon is new, then it starts to do what we call waxing. Remember Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. So when it's waxing on, it's filling up. When it's waxing off, it's releasing. So wax on. We're going into our first quarter. This is a time of action, challenge, and adjustment. So this is when you're taking your planted seeds, your intentions, and everything that you started to build, and you're putting action into it. You're testing it out. You're challenging it a little bit more. You're pushing yourself so that you can find the adjustments that need to be made for yourself. This is where things get real. That's definitely a great way to put it. Things are getting real right now during a first quarter. You know, you can use this by making decisions that align to continuing the growth, expanding it, pushing past any resistance that's showing up. This is when you do give yourself a oof, just push, just give yourself a push. Continue on. Commit to things during this phase. The energy is here for you to do this. And when you follow this cycle, you have already built a strong and nurturing foundation during your new moon phase and energy to where your intentions are true and pure. So you know why you're doing what you're doing. So that's giving you the full, like the fuel to push through when you find resistance coming in your life so that you can commit to whatever you're looking to grow. So then the next phase is going to be called a waxing gibbous. This is refinement. This is when your energy is being refined. It's the preparation and it's the focus. So you've planted the seeds, the intention is there. You've tested out new ways of doing it. You've changed your energy on if you've come into a challenge, you've maybe adjusted things. And now you're refining your practice, your method, and your focus is really there because you're repping it, right? You're almost there. You're just making little adjustments now. You're refining. I call this the editing phase, right? You're just editing what you're already doing well and it's serving you. So you can use this energy by tweaking anything that you're working on, finding improvements, but staying consistent. That's the biggest thing. You do not want to let off the gas at this time, right? Stay consistent to what you're doing. This is why we want to build in a cycle. You want to build a strong foundation with strong intentions, knowing why you're doing it, so that you can continue to have the energy to push and keep building it. And then you want to stay consistent on this routine as you're building something. Whatever you decided on during the new moon, I suggest highly that you do not give up on it and you continue on building it through this, even if you've found things that like maybe, oh, you don't fully know if you're aligned. Just keep going right now. This is the time to keep going because you're going to see at the end of this whether or not it's for you or not. But you have to give yourself the chance to stay consistent and find out for sure and make sure it's not just an impulse decision to give up because of a momentary energy and not necessarily what you really want, right? That's why the new moon phase is so important. Intention is everything. If you really want it, you will consistently stay with it. So after we finish our waxing gibbous, now we are approaching the full moon. The moon has filled up with the energy. Now the moon is completely opposite where the sun is. It's reflecting all of this energy that it's accumulated from its journey and its refinement, and now it is fully illuminated with this energy. There's clarity in the decision that you made and what you were growing. There's emotional attachment to the experiences that you've gone through. Now you're seeing the visibility of what you've been practicing. This is where results start to show up in this cycle, right? Everything comes to the light here. So you use this energy by reflecting on your journey and what these results are showing you. You start to release anything that doesn't serve you in that, and you celebrate where you've come from not having anything to show to having something tangible from your results and your effort. It's a wonderful time, right? It's a wonderful time. The energy is full and it's abundant. It is almost like when babies are being like grown and it's like the baby is conceived and then it's growing and now the baby is born. It's birth. It's full. So it's got all of its nurturing, its refinement, and its editing, and it's born. So then the moon, after it becomes full, moves into what we call a waning gibbous. This is the sharing phase, right? This is when you've got the full energy of something and now you're starting to integrate it into what you're already doing, what you're knowing. Like this is how I always deem wisdom, right? This is how you get wisdom. It's the thought, the inspiration, the idea, and then you have the experiences that kind of show you what the idea really is. Then you give yourself the rest time to reflect on the idea, and then the wisdom comes in from that experience. That's kind of what the waning gibbous phase is to me. It's the integration, it's where the wisdom is delivered. And now, once you have the wisdom of it, you can express it. The best teacher is one that has gone through the experience, one that can connect with it in their own personal way. You can teach someone something, but if you've never experienced and you don't know it, it's going to be a whole different world. Hold on one second. They're loud downstairs. Let me close the door. Okay. All right, we close the door. We let them flow and vibe, because I love it when people are communicating and expressing and enjoying company. But it was getting a little loud, and I kept listening to that as I was talking to you. So I was like, close the door, Kyra. So I closed the door, even though now that means no cats can come in my room, but it's okay. They're in here all the time. Okay, so where were we? We were on the waning gibbous. So the waning gibbous has happened, and really what it's telling you is now you understand what that all meant, what the whole process was, what the challenges brought for you. There's the piece now where you've reflected on it and where you understand why they came up and what it grew from you, right? So the best way to utilize the energy of the waning gibbous is to share it, to share what you learned, to teach it. Once you share something and teach it, this expands your knowing of it, right? That's one of the reasons I even created this channel for myself, is I love sharing what I know, and because it expands that knowledge within me and it teaches me even more within my sharing, right? It's a process, it's a cycle. So by going through experiencing, learning, reflecting, refining, and then gaining the wisdom and then pushing that wisdom back into the cycle again, I'm just continuing my growth. And we're continuing the growth of the collective, of the world. It's beautiful when we follow the moon cycles. So even if you're learning something that someone else, you think is niche and maybe someone else doesn't want to know, there are plenty of people in this world that actually want to know what you're learning. So yes, learn what you want, but also share what you've learned, because we can grow from each other by being each other's teachers and being students to each other. So it's a wonderful thing. So finally, we have gotten to the last quarter. This is the release of all of this energy. This is when you let it go. This is when you reevaluate, you clear things out. Remember, energy needs to be released. You don't want to just continuously hold on to it. It doesn't mean that now you have to every month start over learning something new, but you might be at a different phase of the learning of this something, right? You've elevated into a different place, but you've let go of everything that doesn't serve, or just let go of it completely and just allow yourself to begin again. You don't have to start from zero, but maybe you're beginning in a different level of your practice or your education, or whatever it is that you were nurturing through this whole process that you brought into your life. You always want to let go of energy. You don't want to hold on to anything, and allow yourself to be the child. Think about how quickly a child learns. It's because a child does not hold an attachment onto things where it has to hold on emotionally. It has to hold on to a memory and get stuck there. Memories are wonderful sources for us to be able to have fuel, to be inspired, change emotions. But they are not things that you ever want to use to get stuck in and not allow yourself to grow. They are here to serve you, not to confine you. And that is what the last quarter moon is here to help you learn, is how to release any emotions and feelings, experiences, so that you can move forward and continue on. What doesn't align starts to fall away. And naturally, this is just happening in your life. But when you become conscious to it, you just now are consciously participating and you're aware. And there's something magical that happens when you bring awareness to this part of your life. So the best way to use a last quarter moon is to release any habits that no longer serve you, release boundaries that are restricting you on anything that you want to enhance or go after in your life, and detach from things that are not in your best interest. And sometimes I pause when I say detachment because people can get funny about this, but I really do believe in detachment. And I don't think that you can't love You can't be present or consistent or loyal to a certain extent, but some of these like words and these experiences can be traps. Like, yes, loyalty is a wonderful thing, but will you stay loyal to something that is harming you, that is infringing on your boundaries just because of the longevity that it's been there and the fact that being loyal is deemed as a beneficial thing in this society? You have to let things go sometimes. You have to let things go. So yes, show up, be responsible, be loyal, do all of those things, but remember that you have to surrender to the best for yourself. And when you can do that, it really helps. Even detaching from being angry or mad, grudges. When I stopped holding on to grudges, holding on to resentment, letting my heart be open, it changed my life. I'm not kidding. It changed my life, because even though I might feel moments of frustration or irritation, those energies and emotions show up, I do not let them hold on to me. I let them show me that I'm not aligned to this situation, and I move on. I forgive the person, the experience, and myself for whatever just happened. I take the lesson and we keep it pushing. There's closure that comes to things. I don't hold on to things. Just because someone hurt me or did me wrong or made me feel away, I'm not going to punish them or myself by holding those feelings for the rest of my life. And it can get extreme for me. Like, if I'm pretty extreme about it, I'm not going to lie. Like, even if something happens that is traumatic, I've learned to let it go. And not just let it go, but be thankful for it at the same time. And I'm not saying that that's something that you need to do. You know what's best for you. You do exactly what your soul feels called for. But that piece for me is just such a beautiful life. I'm no longer attached to anything in the way that if it leaves, it will break me and I will be done. If it leaves, it's served and I learn. Even the relationships that I've had that I miss, that I now know how to move more aligned and true with myself. And now I'm a better partner, a better person in relationships because I lost this relationship. It's a gift that was given to me by the loss of that relationship. I might still miss it, but I've let go of the fact that it needs to come back, or it needs to, I need to replicate it. I just am thankful that I even got the chance to experience it in the first place. So this is where you come back into yourself when you're going through this phase of the moon, the waning crescent. This is right before, we get back into our new moon cycle. So you use this by resting, going inward, and preparing for the next cycle. And it's kind of beautiful how it literally leads you right into a new moon cycle where you're still in that space of rest. You're internal, so you're able to figure out what you really want, and you're able to start building small actions and taking steps towards keeping that soil very nurtured. Once you start flowing through this cycle, you're going to start noticing that your life is moving really beautifully, really intentionally. It does not mean that experiences that are potentially traumatic or upsetting or difficult do not come up, but you might find a different way of handling them and approaching these situations. So when you're learning to live with the moon, you stop expecting yourself to be the same every day. You allow different phases of energy to come up and know that you're meant to be at different phases. You're not meant to be at your peak all the time. It's an ebb and a flow. It's like a wave. The moon pulls the tides. It pulls it in and it lets it go. It pulls it in and it lets it go. And that's how you should live your life, in my opinion. Live it how you want to. But when you live your life like the tide, it flows so much more enjoyable in this world. You're able to encounter challenges and encounter, experiences that are lovely in a whole different way. Some days are for action, some days are for rest, and some days are for reflection. When you start living with the moon, you stop forcing things to happen at the wrong time, right? And life starts to feel more natural. Now, your cycle naturally, it might not be aligned with what the moon is doing right away, but once you start paying attention to what the moon is doing and what your internal cycle is, you start learning your own cycle, your own natural rhythm. And that is a gift that the moon can give you. So even if you find that during a new moon phase, you're still in the space of, a first quarter, right? Your cycle might be a little bit different, but you're still monitoring what's going on in nature and reflecting it, because it can see maybe where you're pushing ahead too fast or you're pushing too slow. It'll give you an idea to just be intentional about your choices, your life, and your behavior. So life starts to feel more natural. And that's really what following moon cycles does for you. It aligns you to a natural flow, your natural flow. So what phase of the moon are you in right now? Through all the ones that I listed, are you going through new moon energy? Are you going through a waxing crescent? Are you experiencing your first quarter? Are you having a waxing gibbous? Are you in a full moon phase? Are you in a waning gibbous or a last quarter moon? Or are you in a waning crescent? That is the cycle that the moon goes through. And I just saw 1111. Make a wish. You'll figure out where you're at just by understanding where the moon moves through. And then you can start moving through the cycle of your life. So it's a beautiful, beautiful energy. And I love the moon, not just because I'm slightly biased, because I've got a lot of Cancer energy in me. I do. So I'm a moon child, but because the moon has taught me so much about living my life in bliss, and I wish that on everyone. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like it if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're into this. This is what I love to do. I love to learn and share and explore and building this community for myself and others, because I want to meet other people that are into learning and growing in the same way. Even if we have a different opinion on things, still tell me yours, because I learn from contrast just as much as I learn from alignment. So thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for giving me the space in order to share my thoughts and my feelings of alignment with the moon cycle. Enjoy your moon energy. Tap into what's aligned to you. And I wish nothing but a natural flow to your life that is full of bliss and joy. And when you do run into troubles or challenges, the strength and the perseverance to push through. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow.